Witching Hour podcast, the show where four nerdy friends talk pop culture and fantasy, things they love. I'm Sam.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Vanna.
I'm Fox.
And welcome to this week's episode. So today we start what is going to be a mini-series of episodes. Today we're going to be talking about tabletop gaming, and we're going to start with non-D&D stuff today, going into 2 episodes after this strictly about D&D. So if tabletop gaming is your thing, you're in the right place, because the next 3 weeks, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And today, we have our first guest, who Vanna is going to introduce.
Hi, guys. This is Tom. He's a good friend of mine.
Hello, everyone.
And he's going to be, if you guys were here during the first episode of The Witching Hour, our beautiful Sam may have mentioned something that she was not a fan of, and this is the proud owner of this item.
It's not okay. We finally have a visual, so you guys get to see the creepy-ass creature that I didn't want to become real.
It's not okay.
And,
it's not okay.
Tom, you want to continue the
Sure.
better explanation?
I'll do my best. So the creature in question is known as the Phoenix. I'm trying to do the best possible visuals, but the creature in question is known as the Phoenix. As you can see, the wings themselves kind of look like hands. And then on on the wings, it's not kind of hard to see, but there are also hands coming out of the wings, out of the feathers. The creature itself has hands. Its feet are hands.
That's a grabby bitch.
Fully painted. I want to see this fully painted in flesh colors.
Oh, gross.
I mean, I don't have that kind of skill, but maybe one day.
He's known for building models
And never painting them.
and never painting them.
Well, a fun fact, there is someone in this podcast that does detailed miniature paintings.
Are you trying to talk about me? I was like, wait, she's talking about me.
Sam won't touch that. Get it away.
I was like, that particular model, no thanks.
Because isn't there a hand coming out of the butt?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Reminding
Yes,
us.
there are actually 3 hands coming out of the butt.
Oh,
Let's see if I can
God.
try to just
get it
right
up in-
get up
about.
in there.
Get close.
Okay, right there it is.
Oh no.
It's pretty hot.
Yep. Oh, and then the one final thing to add to the creep factor is there's also, obviously you can see the beak. There's a face inside of the mouth. Let me see if I can try to.
No thanks. That is not the type of phoenix I am. I promise. I give you my word.
So
I'm too
that's
exhausted
fun.
for all those hands.
Aren't you just the ashes portion at that point?
Oh man. Yes.
It's just a pile of
I'm
ashes.
a pile of ashes. I am a pile of ashes in a trench coat.
That sounds
Well,
pretty hot.
to lead into that,
Thanks.
usually what comes out of the ashes is a beautiful creature of some sort, right? Right? That generally happens. Well, some of the lovely
Let's see if I can try to get the best. So this is one of the I have a better actual picture of it, but this is one of the expansions to the game. It's the ring-tailed vixen. It's
Tail vixen.
So Vanna.
it's-
She looks kind of dummy thick. Am I?
No. You are seeing that exactly correctly. So it was a little expansion. So this is what she's supposed to actually look
Oh,
like.
please.
Damn.
Thank you for
Wow.
these visuals.
She can
No
have
problem.
my
Wow.
heart. Take it, rip
Definitely
it out.
thick.
It's yours.
I would shake her hand.
I would
I
pray
made
to that booty.
I may have encouraged this purchase.
Really?
You did.
Not surprised.
It was a relatively cheap purchase compared to everything else for this board game, but it comes with a hardback rulebook that has some very interesting pictures in it as well.
They have little.
It has little tassels that kind of keep the page. So this is how it works
To keep
in
his
a D&D
favorite artwork
sense.
safe.
Ooh, you should do the story.
Oh god.
Oh, the
no.
story.
So
Ooh, what is this?
So the game has a little bit of a tiny story that kind of introduces you to how the world of Kingdom Death works. The game is meant to be very unsettling and very dark and very scary. Think of Berserk meets Monster Hunter meets XCOM, if you've ever played XCOM.
Give it.
I barely know any of those things.
Fair enough. It's always hard to try and explain this game to people who are like, if you understand the concept of Monster Hunter where you go, you hunt things and you bring back their parts and then create stuff, it's kind of like that, but if you made it really, 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 really dark fantasy.
I would like to play
That
this
sounds
game.
lot of
When
fun.
can I hop on a plane and just come play this game? Because I would like to.
Any excuse to play this game, because, well, I guess before I go into the story, the game is very expensive. It is the most expensive game I've ever bought, and it's for the core set, which comes with everything, and it's about £20 worth of game. It is
Oh my
$400.
Holy. Yep.
And
I
the
remember
box,
when you
chunk of
got it,
change.
because Vanna's message came with
box
unboxing a
is like-
$400 game.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's like this big.
It's that big. It's that big.
I prefer
remember
the
the
used pack of Uno cards from the Goodwill. That's my price range.
Lexi's video froze. We're just gonna
Yeah.
keep going.
Do I need to reopen it?
Maybe you're just turning your video off and on again, but yeah, you frozen. It's a real funny face.
No! People are going to take photos.
Oh, I know.
I realized it froze, and I'm like, I hope the last position I was in was flattering, because I know it's going to freeze. Thank you for making all my fears come true.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been. You make worse faces. It was that face.
Oh, okay. That's
Well-
fine then. Thank you.
Yeah, you look super cute.
These are some of the visuals.
So it's like getting
Well-
back to Kingdom Death.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll try to. So this is kind of what the floor is on the actual world. The
That's
whole.
disgusting.
Yep. So they're not actual. Well, okay. Let me try to phrase this as best as possible. So those are stone faces. They're not actual human faces.
Still a gross concept.
I mean,
absolutely.
I would
Less
much
gross
rather
being
the
stone.
human faces over the stone faces, but that's fine, I guess. Whatever.
I would love it if the
But-
land was made of flesh.
I know.
So
Well,
it's actually one of the things in the game where you see the characters can see a vision of a person with an inverted stone, with a rock as a head, with an inverted stone face, and they're the ones that are carving the actual stone faces. But that's just a vision you might be able to see.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
So-
nuts.
So
Weird.
let me just make sure that all of these are not that bad. So
I was like, yes, this is going to be a very visual episode with like showing things and displaying things, so not
me
the
just-
best auditory episode.
all right.
let's get that
So
one.
tune into
Let's
the
skip that
video
one. Yeah. Let's
portion
skip that
on
one.
our YouTube channel. Post it on every Sunday following the podcast premiere on the
I'm
previous
making sure
Oh.
they're okay. They're all okay.
Lovely
Wait, we gotta
plug.
work on doing these plugs.
Yeah, that one's
because
fine.
I am
Lovely
gonna try and
plug.
get us on like Anchor
I would
to get
definitely
us
pretty
on, like,
much
Spotify
just like
and
skim
iTunes and all
through
of that.
That, Lexi,
This is a good fourth
So-
episode to post with our crew.
that was chef's
Super
kiss
good.
gorgeous. That plug.
Oh.
That was good. I mean, you are our social media person for a reason.
Because I got OCD.
All right. I guess is everyone ready for me to do my, if I'm doing this?
Show more nasty.
Show us the
now.
money.
The quota
Alright.
needs to be met.
Well, this is the storybook part of
The
the
story. I was
part,
like,
of,
yes,
part of the
give me
book.
story,
So
story.
I'll do my best. Forgive me if I stutter. I'm slightly dyslexic. So
Same.
once upon a time, there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. And then this is the picture that kind of goes along with it.
Oh. Oh, that's awesome.
$400 well spent.
Thank you.
Already.
Yeah.
Already.
One day the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him he saw other people stirring, and beyond a horizon of unbroken darkness.
My eyes
So
adjusted to
pretty.
that. Bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, sorry guys about the glare.
All right.
We're skipping this photo.
We're skipping this one because it might be a little bit too risque.
I would like a picture of that.
Will you send it to us later?
Yeah.
Oh. Thanks for
Let me
hooking
just
us up.
take it.
No problem. A woman approached the man with a lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. I kind of had to hold back the showing the picture because I was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that. Suddenly a monster emerged from the darkness. Its eyes wild with hunger, it attacked.
Ooh, that artwork is epic.
That is beautiful.
Pongers.
The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its teeth. Some it devoured whole.
Little gruesome.
A little tiny bit gruesome.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
Man.
Sam, it's you. Aaliyah. Fine. Rawr.
Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape.
I don't like warm noses pushed against me.
It's like we're being read a bedtime story.
I don't know that, except it's creepy.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is like my brain all the time.
But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack. He tore at it with all of his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly.
Oh man, that artwork is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I really just want to touch. I just want to touch stone faces.
You wanna feel the cold nose?
Yeah.
The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. This one's a little bit more intense.
Yikes.
Way more.
Damn.
I mean,
And if I don't know if you remember earlier in the story when he said dried caked ink on, it's now running down his face and stuff. So, war paint.
mm-hmm. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. They have nothing but the need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle.
Dun 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 dun.
So cool.
And that's
Pretty.
That's the story.
the story. So
Right.
That's so neat.
That is so awesome.
So that's actually how the game starts. A house rule of mine is anytime I start a new campaign, I read that story. But how the game starts is it's four characters. They have it's supposed to be two male and two female two female characters. You name them, which gives them survival, which is kind of like their resource to do special abilities and stuff. And then they're able to. You have to fight what's known as the white lion, but the white lion is bigger than your regular lion, and it's scary because it has hands for front paws instead of actual paws.
I remember Vanna talking about this, that all the creatures have some weird hand mutation to
Yep.
them. Like there
Yeah.
was like the ram thing that like the chest opens up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh. Why
So, again-
hands? I guess hands
Everything-
are kind of creepy, especially if just out of nowhere.
Exactly. So that's like the whole point of the game. The whole
guess if
point
you
of the game.
I bet every artist who had to work on this game hated it.
Hands are hard.
I mean, if you look at the guy who made the game, you can kind of tell. Like, let me see if I can find a picture.
He looks like the
It
type.
was just the
He
joke
looks
that
like the
artists
hand
hate
type.
drawing hands.
Oh,
like hands
yeah,
are
yeah.
like people leave it
Oh.
out.
I'm not artistic as much as I
It
love
is
art.
very much just an art joke.
Yeah.
You just
You know,
enjoy the art. You don't make it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
I wish I could.
And with hard work and dedication, you could.
Zoom,
Who's talking
Sam.
about that?
I kicked her out, but she opened the door.
You got a speed racer.
Yeah. Yeah, kitty life while podcasting is fun.
So yeah, I apologize if there's any weird noises
Not that
in,
one.
on my
Cool.
end. I have a cat now, so.
Well,
Let me take a picture
Where
of
we
that.
have our animal. I'll have Peepoo right here, and she'll struggle a ton. But I feel like that fits my energy.
We could do intro the pets at the beginning and then release the ones that don't want to stay.
Which would be Mervyn.
Yeah. I hope, like, have her in front. I'm Lexi.
Oh, that was not that bad.
I'd have to take turns getting mine.
Oh yeah, that.
No, you just gotta
Oh, yeah,
choose
that's fair.
one as your token pet.
It's gonna be the new
Well,
one.
no, it's gonna be
Maybe
this
Anna.
one because
The mustache.
she's the most
Mustache.
used to being on.
Oh, he has more to show.
Uh-oh.
More to show.
Yes, more Kingdom.
Go
Death.
ahead, white man.
So, this is one of the events that can be triggered in the game. It's the intimacy event. I will go into explaining that just a little bit more in a moment. But this is just kind of the art style that they have. So it is very, as you could probably tell, it's very, very much the anime art style. And if you look at the guy who created the game, you can kind of tell that, the women in the book have a very nice bosom, shall I say. Some of them.
Relatable.
Yep.
Oh.
So the which also kind of goes into the ring-tailed vixen, is this nice little bookmarker that she came with. So the intimacy event, one of the things that can kind of, I guess the game's kind of like Civilization in a certain way. You have to kind of build up your civilization, make sure everyone survives, and then, well, along down the line, when people love each other, they have kids. So that's one of the things that can happen in the game, where you can trigger an intimacy event where it does state that a consenting male and female character can roll on the intimacy table and potentially have kids, which then or they could die if you
Wait.
roll really badly.
Wait, the character can die?
Oh yeah.
Seems like my
yes.
kind of role.
So if
That
you
would
roll,
be your role. Mine too.
If you roll a 1, basically, because again this is dark fantasy, both the male and female character can no longer stand living in a world of complete darkness and just walk off into the dark to die together. If you roll a 1. If you roll like a 2 to a 3, then just the female character dies in childbirth, and the male character then goes insane. And then anything higher than that, you have a child, or you potentially have twins, or if you get like certain kind of stuff, you can have a savior child, which just has superpowers. But with the ring,
All I'm hearing is we ban intimacy.
Well,
Hey,
you
this isn't
kind of
my D&D campaign.
well, you kind of need characters to
Yeah.
to be able to progress into the game. So like you kind of actually do need to like
because characters can die extremely easily.
Yeah.
Where it is like there is a whole thing how you lose the game is if all of your characters in your settlement die, which is extremely possible. Even if you're not outwardly fighting monsters, they can die in the settlement through childbirth or other random events that happen. Like you can have a plague could happen if you don't have the right kind of technologies. They might not be able to survive it. Things of that nature.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're still only just part of the way through.
We're barely a quarter of the way through. And we've lost like
A lot of
6 people,
yeah.
maybe.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha's still going strong.
Sasha's still going strong, so yeah.
So
Then,
don't get super attached to a character. That's all you're saying.
No.
so yes, but the game kind of forces you to become super attached to characters because you have to name them before they can go out.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of get like one of the technologies you can get, or like advancements, innovations they call them, is the you can get like families, and then you can make surnames for your characters, and then if 2 people have a child, that child can then get their surname, and then the child can also potentially get skills from either from the mother or the father. And
Gotcha.
it's very it's such a good game, but it's
Yeah.
very like
It's very
it's very in depth. It's
Interesting.
you kind of play. It's like it's basically like how you play this game is like playing D&D. You set up sessions to continue a campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a really, really dark fantasy.
Oh yeah. Hang on. I can. There's some more photos.
we will have to transition
Yep.
here and
I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh.
If you want to see more about Kingdom Death, Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't be near anyone when
Not
you Google
sponsored, just go Google it. Oh, I guess that's the thing. None of these games are sponsored in any way. We're just sharing things we like or want to because this is fun. So,
Yes.
But if a sponsorship were to happen,
we would play the game live.
Yo, God, yeah.
open to possibilities.
Hell yeah.
So who would like to go next and talk about their game?
I think it's only fair our other game obsessive Fox gets to start talking.
Okay, give me 1 second. I want to find... For one of these games, I just want to read one of these things.
Well, I'll take it in a super light direction with a game that I really, really enjoy. I've played this game twice, and it was at 2 different parties. The last time I got to play it, which was when I bought it, was at Halloween, and it is The Resistance.
Yes.
And I bring up this game because of the fact that Among Us is so popular for so many people. This is your tabletop version of Among Us, pretty much.
It's great with strangers. Oh my god, it was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, playing it with strangers makes it so much better because you don't know people and like how to read them. Because the idea is that your crewmates are your spies, and the spies want missions to fail, and the crewmates want them to succeed. And you got to figure out who the spies are, so you don't send them on missions, so you don't fail missions. There are extras and other things like that, but the base is that you want to find out who the spies are. And when you don't know people and you're just like, I think they're a spy, and you see how they react, and it's a lot of yelling, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
And especially if you add a little bit of, alcohol, great time. Great time.
It can be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yes. So I had an absolute blast playing this game, and I want Vanna to play it.
Well, it's funny
She
because
wasn't around.
yeah, well, Tom
I have
has
that game
it.
as well.
Well, I want you to play it with us. I know you
Okay,
play it
I
with
will.
Tom, but I want you to play it
Then
with
Tom,
us.
I will play that game with you. I'll
Okay.
save it. I'll
No.
I will
No,
let
give
you
Tom
pop
your
that cherry.
I was gonna say, don't give him your first. It's for us.
So, one of the games that I want to talk about is this one. It's called Stupid Deaths. And what you do is you have a true and a false tombstone vote card. And you have to tell me, you have to guess if the way that these people died is true or false. There is a Reaper on the board, and every time someone gets it wrong, he moves towards you. And every time you get one right, you move away from him. And it's a giant circle on the board. So I'm going to read one.
I was gonna say it's like so we're reading at least one, if not a couple more, right? 'Cause
Yeah, I
this
could
is
totally.
popular.
Yeah, I could totally read more. Don't worry, I'll just pick
Pick three.
randomly. Pick 3.
Pick 3.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
we'll do 3 and then we'll talk about a new game. But let's do 3, and
That's
we
a really
will
long
all-
name.
We will each say whether we think it's true or false, like real or not.
Let's see.
And we'll do 3. This is
3's the best number, so I get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like three. Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh
Feels
no.
like a solid number.
Hold on. Those were all false, so that's not fun.
I was like, make them good. Make them good. Take the time to make them good.
Alright. I'll
I
find
just
some
wanna
really,
throw-
really dumb ones.
I'm just gonna throw this out there real quick. So Sparkles behind me just went, like literally just plopped on the
flopped.
ground. Yeah, she just. I just heard this like clap sound, and I like looked over, and she's just like.
The best with Resistance was always accusing Lexi or Shane that they were spies.
Yeah, Lexi totally looks like she is. I mean, she's
Oh,
completely.
Lexi froze again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like,
Now
look,
she's
she's
back.
so still. She's not moving. You can't even
she's
see
back.
her heartbeat.
Well, like, between her and somebody else who were there, we were like, haha, they're a spy. Every time it was just, they're a spy. Well, and we even, making fun of the fact Among Us was popular, even were like, they're sus, you're sus. And we were all having like shirts on because some of us were dressed up for Halloween. So like I was Velma, so I was wearing orange, and they were like, orange is sus. So we totally took Among Us lingo and applied it to Resistance, and it was really funny.
There we go. Sorry, my Wi-Fi fully crashed for a second there.
Technical difficulties on Lexi's end.
Okay, I think I got a couple of pretty good ones. Yeah, I got a few. This is gonna be fun.
All right.
This is one of my favorite games to play with my family, mainly because the stupid deaths you find in here is just so funny.
True or false?
All right. So I have 5 out. I'm going to pick randomly as we go, but this is going to be the start. So Sam Patch, born 1807, died 1829. The first famous American daredevil. 10,000 people gathered to see Patch jump from a great height into the Nigerian River. Oh, sorry,
False.
Niagara River. At the foot of the falls in 1829. Later that year, he jumped into the Guianese River, but didn't resurface. His body was found months later, frozen into the winter ice.
False. I'm just gonna stick with that.
I'm going
I'm gonna say true.
I'm gonna go with true that he was a stupid, 22-year-old or something, if I did the math, around
Yes.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say true.
Vanna, you get closer to the Grim Reaper there.
It was true.
The thing that threw me was more when they said 10,000. I was just like, back in that day, that doesn't seem like a lot of people would gather at that point.
Oh.
Unless it
There's nothing else going on, bro.
There's nothing else going on.
Things like that are
An
planned and
idiot's gonna do something,
advertised,
we're in.
months and months
Wait,
ahead of
something's gonna
time.
happen besides farm and stick? Sign me up.
Angus, bruh. So this next one is Leonardo da Vinci. Born in 1452, died 1519. Da Vinci was a brilliant painter, sculptor, and inventor, but unfortunately not great with ladders. While working on his final sculpture, to Cavallo, Leonardo slipped and fell, fracturing his skull. He later died from the injury. True or false?
No.
See, does anyone actually know the history? Because I'm like, I don't.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say false, just because I'm edgy like that.
I have a feeling it's false, but I don't know history.
I don't
Tom,
think
make a
that's-
decision.
I don't think that's how he died.
I was like, I'm feeling false.
Yeah,
I think
false.
everyone's saying
False.
false.
Everyone moves away from the Reaper. It is false.
Yay!
Woohoo! We were right.
All right. How about some more history? Tutankhamun, born circa 1314 BC, died circa 1323 BC. Let's see. Tutankhamun, the ruler of ancient Egypt, died of heart failure at the age of 18. He was cursed, it is said, by a man whose donkey was killed by the pharaoh's pack of jackals.
I'm gonna say true.
I'm gonna say true.
I'm going to say false, because if I remember correctly, he died in an accident.
Tom, you're wrong. I hope.
Vanna?
I was gonna say true because it seems like something that would happen.
So, only Tom moves away from the Reaper. Everyone else gets close. It is false.
Okay.
I wish it told you how they died.
I mean, I could go grab my book from the Tutankhamun exhibit. I know he was sickly. He was
Yeah.
very sickly and died young. That's the only reason I said true, because I'm like, I don't remember exactly why he died. And of course they would say someone was cursed because, how do you explain away, super inbred people, because, they didn't think that, the whole royal bloodline thing. Yeah, he died super young and had lots of health problems. And
Yep.
he was, he had a cleft palate, and, his legs weren't the same length, all kinds of things.
Yeah, he was all fucked up.
I know this kind of stuff too because I watched that OPB animated show about Tutankhamun.
Oh, was it Kid Tut?
Yeah, Kid Tut.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Mine was from going and seeing the exhibit the last time it was on tour in the U.S. But
I don't go
okay.
anywhere.
So, this will be our last one. Frank Hayes, Born 1888, died 1923. Jockey Frank Hayes won his last horse race despite being dead. He suffered a heart attack mid-race, but his body remained on his horse, Sweet Kiss, as they crossed the finish line.
I want to say, yeah, I want that to
I'm
be
saying
true.
true.
I want it
That's
to be true.
I'm saying true because I feel like I heard it on 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, that's why I'm like...
It's true.
Woo!
So I love this game. I love just not even playing the actual game, but just reading these out and seeing what my family thinks or anyone who I'm playing with thinks.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of these can be really stupid. I think there was one where this guy, he died doing something very, like, mundane. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, it's false, and I flipped it over, like, it's true. Mm-hmm. Another one of my favorite games to play with, like, my family or anyone is called Your Worst Nightmares. You draw 4 cards, and you have these sheets where you rate them, so you have your fears, and then you pick someone, write their name up here, and you have to list what you think their fears, what their highest fears are.
Ah.
So...
That's interesting.
We could go... Okay. So the 4 I just pulled is black cats, teenagers, thunder, and your boss.
You say teenagers and the song just comes to my mind.
Same.
So in this instance, I would put mine, which out of these, not many of them, like, they don't scare me, but you kind of have to think about, like, maybe you're not actually afraid of them, but you have to be like, what do you think is... I think teenagers are just scary. They are so nuts. And I don't like being yelled at, so my boss would probably go next. And then Thunder, and then Black Cats. But, you know, and then you have to pick someone and see where theirs lie. Like, in a couple of these, there are butterflies, there are clowns, there is heights, there's, you know, so there's like almost every fear you can think of. There's talking to strangers, there's abandonment, being cheated on, closed shower curtains, dark rooms, accordions, or corruption. Like, so many fears. There's one where AIs take over, like, all humanity and stuff like that. It's can get intense, like, especially if you're, like, you think what someone fears. Mm-hmm. Like, for Sam and I, clowns, you know, would be tip-top. For Lexi, clowns would be at the very bottom, not even on the page. And then the last game is Betrayal at the House on the Hill. I have played this a few times, and I love it. I love the fact, so it's a game where you go through, you build your own dungeon, mansion thing. You find omens, you find weapons, you find things, because one of the other players turns into a killer. They will sick monsters on you and stuff like that and try to kill you, and then they win and you lose. But if you can destroy the monsters and destroy the person, you win. And it's a very fun game. It takes forever unless you know what you're doing.
Yep.
Which usually you're playing with people who don't. At least that's where I'm at. So they're like, yeah, it's a very strategic game, and I really like it.
Sam, I think your audio cut out.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, again, my last game, I don't have it, but I want it, is Red Dragon Inn. Right? So fun. So you pick a character, then you have like a placemat. You have your deck to draw from, and then you have a drink me pile. And you start off with a character. You start off with 1 drink, and you start off with 10 gold coins. And you can gamble, you can do actions, you can make people drink more. It's a fun game. And you start with 20 fortitude and 0 drink. And if your fortitude and drink ever meet up, you pass out. And it's a fun game. I love it.
It's fun to play as a drinking game, too.
Yes, it is. But like
sounds
Sailor.
like a good drinking
Like
game.
Navy Sailor here, by the way.
Yeah.
like your drink me could have
We
a
won't
chaser.
hold that against you.
Your drink me card might have a chaser, and so you have to take another card and you add that together, and that's how much your drink moves. And then people can attack you and like tear down your fortitude, and it can be very chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lexi.
I was going to say, you got one?
Don't play a lot of games outside of mind games.
The truth in that statement.
I feel like my favorite like my family, we never really played a lot of games growing up. Just period. Mostly because we either didn't have the time for it or we just got into a lot of fights. Like, we don't play Monopoly as everyone does with their family. You don't play Monopoly anymore. It's because I won too hard and they just couldn't accept it. But my favorite, like, card game, I think would have to be Red Flags. Because I love Red Flags so much. We had it where Sam and I were driving back from a convention, just reading out the cards.
Drive.
Oh, it was a good chunk of that drive was just reading those cards because it was so hilarious. The most recent game I played was called Build Your Park. And it's a children's type game. I played it like last week. But you have pieces. It's a dice rolling game. And you have a board that is like 5x4, and then you roll your dice, which is like 5 dice, and there's different pictures on it for different pieces of the park. And then the puzzle pieces, there could be like 3 pumpkins, 1 pizza house, or different combinations. So you're rolling you're rolling the dice to get one of the puzzle pieces that are in the stacks in front of you. I went so hard. They have little circus tents. So I was rolling so hard for circus tents. And my boy was just like, you're obviously losing. And I'm like, but I could have full circus tents. You don't understand. I don't care if I win. At this point, I want a full damn circus on this board. I very clearly lost that round. And I think, honestly, maybe all of them except for one at the beginning before I really went deep into the circus. But I just don't play games that often. There's Color Hues, which I'm excited to play, but I don't know how that's gonna be.
I'm excited for that game too.
That's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. That's where we find out who's colorblind.
I want to get everyone together to play Villainous too.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
The game Lexi just mentioned was Hue and Cues, which we co-bought because I mentioned wanting to get it, and Lexi was just like, "Here's money, go buy it."
You're like, I was like, "Hey, can I just slide you $15 for this?" And you're like, "No, you don't have to." I'm like, "Okay, you're right, 10." And then I immediately sent it to Sam.
So Lexi co-bought the game with me.
It's like co-parenting.
Yeah.
That actually happened to Tom not that long ago. So we were playing a game called
Escape the Dark Castle.
Yeah. And he took it with him to duty one day, and
we all play. I played it with a lot of my friends. One of my buddies loved it so much that I told him that one of the expansions was only $20, and he immediately handed me a $20 to go get it.
Oh my gosh, military friends can be the best with some of that kind of stuff. So I'm an Army veteran, so different.
I won't hold it against you.
Exactly. You get it. But we were doing training, and I had gotten the Heads Up game on my cell phone at the time.
That's a good one.
And all the little expansions were like $2 each. So I was playing it with a bunch of like my male friends who I was going to school with, and they were all just like, here's money. So we bought all the expansions, but they all just gave me money so I could buy all of them. So then we had anything we wanted, and we played Heads Up so much because it was 2 weeks in North Dakota. We had nothing else to do except our school and then going to sleep. So in our free evenings, we played Heads Up for hours.
that's one way to kill time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was absolutely hysterical. You get a little bit of too much, alcohol in you, though. You end up throwing your phone.
You're just
May
like,
or may not have
whoops.
done that.
Whoops.
It was just like, pass, okay. Oh, where'd my phone go?
It takes a lot for you to drink, too, to get drunk.
I mean, when you're just tipsy and relaxed and having a good time,
You
like,
can't just
Remember
let things go.
Halloween? I didn't drink
Yeah.
a lot.
I was like,
Oh.
sometimes it doesn't take a lot if you're letting yourself relax.
I was talking
Yeah.
strictly to
It's
Sam.
mental, too. I have an unnaturally high tolerance for all kinds of things, and it stems from my genetic heritage and then being in the military.
Yeah,
Woo.
military will do that to you.
Like many things in my life, I have a pretty low tolerance.
Especially
Yeah.
for stupidity.
Nah, that's high.
Oh, sorry, that's me. I have no tolerance for stupidity.
So can I talk about a game now?
Heck
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, technically we started with Tom, so we do need to get back to Vanna, so Vanna can actually chat.
I don't even-
I already know I'm probably going to get a lot of...
Oh.
No, you're not.
Oh no.
No, you're not, because I like this game too.
Yes.
It's silly and great.
It's so good.
This has definitely been... Oh my god. So this is his game, but I, played it a lot, so I stole it from him, basically. But, the game came about, so we follow...
Introduce the full title for anyone who is listening on audio, just so they
Yes.
know what game you're talking about.
This is Love Battle High School, and it's a very anime school trope type game for sure. So, he found out about the game because of a TikToker that we follow, and he was like, that game. And then we went to the
Local nerd store.
that we go to, and it was there, and proceed to look at it and giggle over it, and one of the attendees, or
One of the salespeople, one of the people who works there.
was
Sales associates.
thank
There we
you.
go.
Was like,
Words are hard.
you
Very.
need this game in your life because there are conditions placed on this poor unfortunate soul from time to time, and
Didn't we play that at KomoriCon?
I don't think so.
It was one
No.
like it.
Okay.
We looked at potentially playing one like it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a similar high school romance game, but it was a different one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It just looked familiar to me.
yes. Well, so these girls that are obviously going for this poor unfortunate soul here,
Can I be that poor
So
unfortunate soul?
unfortunate. It was like so unfortunate.
I want to be that
Okay.
unfortunate soul.
Let me see. Let me think of. Is it on the back here? Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I can remember them. So there's Rin. There's Yuki. There's Aika. I can't remember the last two. Katsumi, and then I'm missing one of them.
Sayako? Did you say?
Psycho. Wait, they're literally right there. Okay. Sakiko. I'm trying to look at the
We
fine.
have the game. Why not look at it?
I mean, I'm looking at the fine print, and then there's names literally right there on the board. Yeah,
So, Ren is the former.
she's the former student council president, but she was removed. She was voted out because her methods of air quotes punishment were a little bit too extreme.
That's
So
the
she
chick
was
with glasses. It's a
Yes.
chick with glasses.
Well,
That's
like
the chick with
1,000%.
That's
the
literally
chick with glasses.
the Sam of that box.
And then.
There's
Not
Katsumi.
lying. Don't look at me like that, Lexi.
Katsumi, which can't keep her hands
From the one currently wearing glasses.
Katsumi, which can't keep her hands off of the main character, whose name is Hiroshi, and they just refer to him as the hero, which I don't know how that. Yeah, that was my exact reaction. So
Okay.
Katsumi is
The well-endowed redheaded woman.
Yes, the well-endowed redheaded woman. Let me see what else is there. There's the Yuki, which is the longtime friend who's had a longtime friend who has a blend of weird anger and longing for him.
Blue head.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
going to point at them anymore.
Yeah, just let us guess this.
The literal child, the green one.
So, Sakiko is particularly clingy, and that's all they say. So, which one's that one?
I feel like
The child.
it would be the child.
It's the
You
child.
are correct. Yes,
What's
the
worse
small
than a
green one.
rapist? A child.
Child.
They are all 18. So before that goes down that route, but
Excuse
yes.
me?
They're all.
lolly.
No, it says in the rules. It says in the rules they are all seniors, or whatever the
That
Japanese
means
high
they
school.
could be 16, 17.
They say 18 in the book.
Okay.
I'm going with the book.
Okay.
This game specifies they are 18.
Yes.
That's all
Because
you need to
it's
know.
a dirty game.
Exactly.
Yeah, you.
Well, yeah.
What?
That's
Tom.
why it's Vanna's favorite.
No joke. No joke.
And then
It's call out Vanna time.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, there's Aika, who insists that she's part of his destiny, which is this one right here, who has the magic.
baton.
I was like,
It's
of course
that witchy
the blonde.
bitch.
It's not batons.
She's white.
It's magic.
Yeah.
It's literally magic.
She's a witchy
She's,
bitch.
she's placed in the occultist classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course
So-
she is.
Of course, there's a classroom for that.
Why wouldn't there be?
Occult
And there's
rooms
a
are so
janitor's
common in anime
closet.
tropes.
And,
Oh my god.
and there's this girls' locker room, the boys' locker room, the gym, the pool, the nurse's office.
Oh, wow.
Damn. You guys can
And
write your own harem.
Vanna likes this game.
It's not surprising.
Okay, he picked up the game.
You're the one who presented it as your
hilarious.
I was
favorite
like, but
game, though.
Yeah, you picked it.
And he's like, this is my favorite game. I don't want to be judged for it.
No, I didn't say this is my favorite. I
Anti-board
said this is
game.
definitely one of my favorite games because if this is definitely my ring light. This is my
Slay.
yes. He has the big one.
I have the Kickstarter edition to it because I kickstarted it, and it's
Flex.
trying. But yeah, that one's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, so I would say if I were to say favorite, that would definitely be my favorite right now. That one is just it gets me giggling.
Do you want to explain the nurse situation with the conditions that happened?
In regards to the scenario that happened at the nerd.
Like the first, no. It was the when we were playing the game, and then the hero had a condition, and then we pulled the nurse, and the nurse removed said condition.
Oh
What is
no.
the condition?
I'm
Just
sure I
tell
know
us.
what the
Stop
condition is.
beating around the bush.
What's the condition?
Was it a nosebleed?
Do you want me to? Well,
I just want to be able to make sure it's the right one that... Wait, that's not the condition.
So while she looks, what's everyone's like? Not necessarily
talking
obscure,
about that
but
one,
one
right?
that
Yes, that
like
one.
a game that you play that's not like necessarily something like other people would play. Like for fun.
I grew up playing a lot more just card games. Like my family played a lot of card games. So Phase 10 was our biggest thing. Rummy, Uno, but a lot of Phase 10 and Rummy really. So just a lot of card games. We do Royal Rummy with pennies, where you actually have like a board or like a mat that has like combos you get with cards, and people play with like poker chips, but we use pennies.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah, my family's game is Pinochle, which is that is a game that if you are a child in my family, you must learn it. And then another game that I actually like that a lot of people are kind of like, okay, is chess. I love playing chess.
I'm not very good at that. I love playing cosplay chess, but that's because someone controls me.
Because you're not playing it.
I was in
I will be a piece on cosplay.
I was
chess.
in chess club, guys. True nerd.
How do you end the call?
I'll just leave now. It's okay.
All right, podcast is over.
Bye.
My weird game that my family used to play, or we had, was the one where there's different cards in a sense, but you put them on door handles, and you would run around to different locations. Like, you wouldn't see what it was, and they would be flipped backwards. It's this whole game regarding door handles and cards. It was very weird.
Huh.
It was fun to read.
Sounds interesting.
It was very dumb. Don't look into it.
Okay.
Vanna?
The awkward boner condition.
Of course.
Oh.
Of course.
The hero may only move one space during this movement, but you get a +1 to love all seduction cards. And, you know, there's the cute little hero.
All awkward.
Oh, God.
Of course, this is the game you like.
See, how did I know it had something to do with a boner? I just knew by the way that they were talking.
Wait.
I'm like,
Well, it was just like, it was nothing else it could be, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, it can't be that, you know?
I think the weirdest part was the nurse had to fix it.
And I'm like, yeah, that's the part. I'm like, what do you mean the nurse removes the status condition?
Well, they're meddling cards, and every time that you get to the next period of class, meddling cards can happen, and one of the ones is the nurse, and the nurse removes conditions, and it just so happened to be that the condition that he had was the awkward boner, and the nurse removed the awkward boner. How?
And made
Nice.
him.
The
Made
world
him
may never know.
feel
What's your-
him.
Damn!
Feel real better.
Ooh.
I know exactly how that nurse fixed that problem, dear Lord.
All right.
With her intellect.
Yeah.
Wow. What a visual. What a visual.
Intellect.
Intellect.
Hey, sometimes that's where the brains go, guys.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Smooth brain.
Oh my god.
This one's just hilarious in my opinion, so this is Rin. She's so vanilla.
Nice.
So my coworker's been saying to me all
right.
this week.
Sammy, what you got?
I got my other game I wanted to talk about, keeping it on the weeb train. I have the Sailor Moon dice game. And so this game is kind of interesting. It says 2 to 8 players, but really it's only 2 players at a time. The 8 is setting it up tournament style.
Oh.
The concept with this game...
Yeah, because I've seen that one
open
at the shop we go to. I've eyeballed it a few times.
Yeah, so it's a 2-player game, and you just can set up a tournament style thing. What happens is they have these cards that are all different, like, characters in the game, or in the show, you know, Chibi Moon and Tuxedo Mask right here off the bat. And you can see they have little dice markers in yellow and red, and those are the dice you get to use. The red set is what you get to use right away, and then the yellow set is your reserve dice, which you pull if you lose. Like, the next round, you'd get an extra bonus because you lost. So it's like the first to 3 wins. Or it's like you can either do 2 or 3, 3 out of 5, however you want to set it up to play your matches. You draw your characters. It comes with 4 sets of dice and victory tokens and other things, but each character has a different unique ability they can do.
It's
So-
fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's super fun. Really easy to, like, it's complicated to initially learn how to use your attack, your special attack, that kind of thing, but once you figure out how to do it, then it's easy and it's really fun and you can play it quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. Always the first round of any game you play, it's usually a little bit of a stumble anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta learn the rules.
yeah, it was like we're currently learning, we're currently doing a dry run of a new game that we've been playing, so, like, and we're like doing the whole, like, we did something, nope, we're gonna undo that and do this because we can't do what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, happens a lot. So a good example is Planet Power is something all the Sailor Scouts get, and once per match, they can take an extra turn, pretty much.
Oh.
But only if you draw a Sailor Scout character do you get that. Some of them are you get to steal dice, you get to use a dice that was in your reserve for a round and then it goes back. Like, there's all kinds of different things that can help you get a level up. But what I thought was really cool about this game is they designed it to be convention friendly. Like that, this was their goal, was to make this a game that people like would bring their own dice and their own stuff to conventions. So it comes with 2 lanyards
Oh, that's awesome.
that are Sailor Moon themed, and they each have a little plastic name card, and they have cute little different things in them that say like, I'm ready for a match. So it's so you can show that you have this game and you know how to play. So someone be like, hey, I want to challenge you, and then you just pick your card for who you're playing, and then you just have your tokens and you can play.
That is
So it's
very
supposed to be
cool.
like a really easy, take it to conventions, play with your friends, super easy to learn type game. And like in their rules, that's what they wrote. Like the whole point of them designing it was to be easy to play with the nerds. And I'm just like, I love it. And it's probably going to be in our hotel room at all our future conventions when we want to break and we don't want to have to game with people around us.
Yes.
Because that was part of it. When we went, we wanted to just kind of not be with people, but still wanted to game.
Because we get kind of rambunctious anyway.
Then we just
wanna
like
be
were
comfy.
over. I can't think of the word.
In public.
Over, not exposed, but it's just like, oh, I need a break from being around
Yeah.
other people. That's not the close group.
Right, yeah.
A lot of us are introverts, so...
Well, and
Like,
I
so a
remember,
recharge break.
yeah, and I remember each time we came back, everyone just kind of was like dead silent for at least a solid 5 minutes. So like, even we were in the same room, but we still were just like not talking to you for 5 minutes.
So,
It was the
Tom,
decompress time.
so Tom, as our guest, what's one of your favorite games that you have played, get to play, run, whatever?
Oof.
Or a game you wish you could play, but you
Yeah.
have no one to actually play it with or don't have it yet or something.
That's an extremely hard question.
throw you
welcome.
all the curveballs.
This is what happens when you become a guest.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We ask you the hard questions.
You-
We get hard here.
This is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we do. Full on boner. No awkward.
So,
Oh, wow, you're just blatant about it.
Let's bring it back to Savannah's
Where's that
game.
nurse card?
Yeah.
All right, Tom, what were you saying?
so I guess if I'm gonna be entirely honest, my favorite just singular game is probably gonna be Kingdom Death. I mean, I shelled out $400 for it, so
True that.
yeah,
Plus.
but it's plus for the core part of
Yeah.
the game. I shelled out $400, but that's just a very extremely well designed game to the point where it actually has glitches. Which is interesting. Basically, there's a character that if you have one card, it will just keep kicking you till you die, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah. So you got to get rid of that card real fast if you see it. The one new game that we just gotten is really cool. It's very interesting. It's it's right here.
Yeah.
It's called Alone, and it's a kind of a reverse take. It's a reverse take on usual board games where there's like one dungeon master and like other characters in a sense. It's instead there's one hero player and up to 3 dungeon masters in a way.
Oh, interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's been fun killing you.
yeah. I've been the hero player, and her and the Mister have been the evil players, and I have
Of
not.
course they have.
I have not caught a break.
Nope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
Sounds like a really fun game.
And then my favorite series would have to be a game called Zombicide, which I have one of the versions. One of the versions is right here.
You came so prepared.
So prepared.
He's the game guy.
Yeah,
I knew
it's
he'd
true.
be
Yes.
prepared.
I'm the
True.
board
That's
game
why
guy.
he's the guest. That's why he's here.
Yes. And I have almost every version of Zombicide, as I was a bit of a zombie fanatic back in the day when zombies were first getting good.
He loves those brains.
Yeah.
I do. Big brain. And they have one coming out relatively soon that's like a Western one that's really cool. And they have some of the characters that are named after like Billy the Kid and Doc Holliday. And I'm looking forward to that one.
That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
We've looked at the...
Someone else is also looking forward to it as well.
Well, you
Was
keep
there-
looking at the kid's
The art's
card
really
a lot.
nice.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Well, there's also the one character that I'm excited to play as well.
what was that one?
Uh,
I can't remember her name.
no, I can't either now.
She looks like a saloon girl.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I guess that kind of
Of course.
for that one.
Is that also the game that you really want to get? Is that like the wish list of a game, or what's the top wish list game?
I guess for right now, that's the top wish list game, but it's
Gotcha.
it's in Kickstarter right now, so it's in a closed Kickstarter right now. So I'm just waiting until March of 2022, which is right around the birthday. So there's that at least.
That always just sucks just a little bit.
Yeah,
It's fun being on that Kickstarter side to be pompous, and say you were on the Kickstarter, because that's only something kind of a douchey person would say.
Oh my god, Lexi.
I'm kidding. I'm just trying to be mean to Tom.
That means she likes you, don't worry.
But on the other hand,
Picking on our guest, jeez.
welcome to the podcast where I'm just a little mean.
When Lexi's mean, you've kind of passed one barrier of her to liking you.
Yeah, if I like you, I'm mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, good to know. I'll put that on the list.
It is the struggle of having to wait for the Kickstarters to end and then production and all those other things.
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend of mine, the game he did a Kickstarter for that we got to play that was super fun was Joking Hazard. If you've seen the Joking Hazard comics, it's these little comic strips of the little dudes,
Little
but they
stick
made...
men.
Yeah, they made a card game, so it's images from their comic strips, and some of them have words, some of them don't, and you put one in the middle, and then the players finish the story with that imagery. So it's like Cards Against Humanity, but with visual instead.
It's so
Super
funny.
fun.
I remember
It's
when the
easy to
Kickstarter was
play.
coming out.
Since it's visually based, it's a great game to play when you're drinking or anything like that, because people just have to look and that looks funny. So you don't have to read or understand anything. So a lot more people end up getting really into it.
Do you own
that
that
was a
one,
good one.
perchance?
I don't. Bender does, so I
Gotcha.
can borrow it from him, because I could even get it from Kat if we ever wanted to play it.
Next drinking night card game.
Game night.
Let's
next
do it.
Game night.
Let's
That's
do it.
not D&D.
So do we
Let's
want
do
one-
hues and clues first at the beginning, and then things get awful.
Start with the games that we need to be sober for, and end with the games we can be drunk for.
Yeah.
So we want one more question before we go away?
Do you have one more question?
I do.
Well, now let's do it.
So-
Slap it down.
Out of Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, what was the card game, nerdy card game that you played and one that you want to start playing? Sam, please go first. You are so excited.
That's because I have a cute story for how I got into Pokemon, because I am an OG Pokemon card player. I never played the video games until I was an adult, but I got super into the card game when it came out in America for playing. They had a VHS tape that taught you how to play that came with a holographic Machamp card, your playmat, all your damage tokens, everything you needed. I had that, and I watched that video so many times. I knew all the rules, how to play, had a ton of cards. I also maybe was a little bit of a bad kid and kind of scammed cards off of other kids in the neighborhood
Good
by
job.
kicking
Yes,
their ass
queen.
at Pokemon.
Get it.
So I don't have any card game I want to get into now. I know a lot of people like Magic Online, but I have too many other things going on. I don't need a card game. I play Genshin Impact and other video games. But
Nice.
Pokemon was my jam for a long time. We still collect cards because my partner's an avid collector, and I still get plushies, and I'm super into Pokemon still. Just not playing it anymore.
So for me, the card game that I collected the most, well, my sister did Pokemon and everything. I was a Yu-Gi-Oh fanatic. There was a card called Terra the Terrible that was an ogre. It was great. But I loved that game so much. Me and my nephew would fight so much. And my favorite card, and I still have it, I still have my deck that I played with, is the Injection Fairy Lily. Oh, she is brutal. And then the game I want to get into, the actual physical card game, is Magic the Gathering. My DM taught me during one of our game nights where D&D wasn't possible, and I fell in love with it, and now I play the arena game on my computer constantly. It's just, I love it so much. I love complicated games. Sorry if you hear people screaming out there, don't worry about it. No one's dying. Honest. It may sound like someone's dying, but no one's dying.
I was gonna say, I wasn't hearing anything.
That's
so.
very sus.
I could hear it through my headphones, so just wanted to. No one's dying.
I didn't play card games growing up. Granted, we did collect Pokemon cards. We collected a good chunk of Pokemon cards. Jessica had quite a few binders of it too. But that's when my family decided Pokemon was satanic and took all of our Pokemon cards away. And instead we got DSs with like Mega Man on them. So wasn't allowed to even think about Pokemon. I then got into Digimon, but they don't have a card game and they are irrelevant in this conversation. So.
All right. Vanna, did you have a card game that you collected or?
Actually, funny enough, I did both. I did Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, but I didn't really get into understanding the rules properly enough, or really, like, played with other players, because, like, I just conned my brother a lot. I was just like, you need to do this card? You need to do this card, just do that card. And he's just like, okay. And I'm like, ha, I win. So, but I collected the cards because a lot of them were, like, pretty, like, you know, Dark Magician Girl, you know, the
Yes.
blue-eyed dragon, I love those characters and stuff. And then, like, Pokemon, it was, like, Mewtwo and Pikachu and Sylveon, like, so I collected what cards that I thought were cute and stuff and traded them with friends, but, like, I never actually played the game. And not gonna lie, I'm not gonna get into any of them.
I never got into Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was just, I love the artwork of the cards and everything, so that's what drew me to that more than Pokemon.
I like, watched Pokemon, but I didn't, and same with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I watched both of them, and then, like, had the cards because of friends and stuff, but, like, I never actually, like, really got into it that much. But my husband, he really likes Magic the Gathering, and he's got, like, his special binder with, like, special cards that are worth, like, a lot of freaking money and stuff, and I'm just, like, sitting there going, like, that could be your thing. Hello, child. Yup. He plays that, and, like, at one point, he was, like, trying to, like, get me into it, and I'm just like, not really. Not my thing.
People can have their own things. You don't have to be into all the exact same things. And, like, that's why I said, like, I'm not going to, as an adult, get into any card-related thing. I can appreciate them, but that's just not my jam.
Yeah. That's a lot of paper.
This has been a fun initial gaming episode, and like I said at the beginning of the episode, next week starts our two-part discussion on D&D. So we're going to start with D&D next week, and then the week after that will be more D&D. So, this has been the Witching Hour podcast with the Cosplay Coven. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, Moonbeams, keep on shining.
Bye-bye.
Bye.